What's wavy? Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Vibes, hosted by me, MoonVibes. And on tonight's late night edition of Fantasy Vibes, we have a special segment for you. Something I'm going to be doing on a regular basis throughout the season, where I'm going to be giving you my starting sits for NFL Week One. And I appreciate you tuning in, checking out Fantasy Vibes podcast. This is the video version of it. You can check more of my podcast out at Fantasy Vibes. Just search it on all podcast platforms. You'll see my big head up there. A picture of a purple cover. That looks pretty lit. So yeah, check that out. Check out the podcast. And again, the stream is sponsored by Real Ones Productions. On my right, you can see all of our socials and how you can connect with us. And give a special shout out to the team. Week one is finally here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm happy as heck to get into these matchups. What I'm gonna be doing is every Saturday night I'm going to be going live with y'all. I think on the Twitch community, and not only giving y'all fantasy insight, but going through my own matchups and my own lineups and setting my lineups for y'all so that y'all can get in depth reasoning insight on why I'm starting the players that I'm starting, why am I fading certain players this week, and hopefully it can help you as you're going across your matchups for week one and into the future. So that's what you can expect on tonight's episode. It'll be a kind of a quicker upload, but I'm also going to be breaking down some of my strategies as well, some of the platforms that I use to come up with the information that I do. And we're going to be checking out a lot of different stuff, including the injury reports, some of the injury reports. And this will be the first of two streams. The first stream happened tonight, and then tomorrow I'll also be going live on YouTube for the community on YouTube to check them out and help them with their starting to sit questions. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. You watching Fantasy Vibes, hosted by Real Ones Productions, and we'll be back live right after this. All right, now that we got our lineups, I'm about to go down the list of all my lineups, and on Sleeper, special shout out to Sleeper. Hopefully, I can get a sponsor from Sleeper soon. But special shout out to them. That's what I'm doing my platforms on today, at least, and hopefully we can get some lineups set and really make it do what it do this week. Coming up first, I'm gonna be doing my Superflex Hocus League, and I'm kind of in a tough situation this week. This matchup, my team currently is Zeke, who had 5.9 points. I didn't get a chance to start change out his position. So I'm gonna go down the list. Now Zeke had 33 yards on 11 carries, two receptions for 6 yards, which was underwhelming. But I mean, honestly, it wasn't really surprising. We knew that Tampa Bay defense was actually lit. We knew that not only are they lit, but they're going to be a tough competition. Dak dropped back and passed the ball like 58 times, close to 60, and Zeke only had two receptions. Journalist asked me a question earlier today. He said, "How are you a little bit concerned or worried about Zeke?" And I said, "Concerned, no, but we need to temper our expectations on Zeke, at least in this first couple of weeks. I'm not saying that the Dak Prescott outage and him throwing 58 times per game is out of the question. We saw the pace that he was on last year before he got hurt, but I just think that this game and the game script and how everything got played out, it just felt like, and if we're just being honest, it just felt like it wasn't a game for Zeke. It was a game for Dak. And these wide receivers who actually went bonkers, went crazy this week. Amari Cooper had himself a night on Thursday night. We also had a situation where CD Lamb could have had a greater performance than he did before, but he didn't. So, that just leaves us with more question marks. I'm not really worried about the Tony Pollard usage and whatever. I just think that it just worked out that way as far as game flow. And the game script had to go out of the window when, when it's time to keep up with Brady. So what do you expect? So I started Zeke. Um, and it was risky, but hopefully I can have other players on my roster, at least in this league, um to combat that. Now, my opponent in this league, as far as the matchup, they started Mike Evans last night and he got 4.9 points. But they also started the Tampa Bay defense and got 4.8 points. So I'm looking at that like, my goodness. Now, if you look at the current matchup, um, wide receiver, his quarterback, I have Joe Burrow. He has Kyler Murray. I'm not really feeling good about that part right there. He has Zeke going up against Mike Davis. My backup running back, my RB2 is Chase Edmonds. And I got to go up against Kareem Hunt. Devontae Adams is my wide receiver number 1 against DeAndre Hopkins. Corey Davis is my wide receiver number 2. Well, technically AJ Brown is my wide receiver number 2, and going up against DJ Moore. Corey Davis is my wide receiver 3, going up against Mike Evans. Darren Waller is my tight end, and Robert Tonyan is their tight end. I got T Higgins as my flex, which I'm really loving, and I got Trevor Lawrence as my super flex. Atlanta's defense tomorrow against Jalen Hurts. Now I know that when I'm looking at this roster and I see my bench, is there anybody that I want to start on my bench? The only person that I consider, and at this point, is Laviska Shenault. Um, 15.92. And if I look at that, that's going to be a little bit more than T Higgins, at least on projection. If I had to look at the matchup and say who would I start in my flex, I just think that Laviska Shenault is going to go crazy tomorrow, and I might be a little biased just because when I'm looking at what's good, Jacory, what's good, Jalen, Jamonte, Moon. The movie was mid, like for scary, not to be scary for real. Oh my god, I got Halloween vibes. My god, I was unfazed. You talking about Candyman, right? I mean, I don't blame you. What's good, everybody? Look at my team, Moon. Help me out. How was the game earlier? I didn't get a chance to watch much of it. I watched the first quarter of the Alabama game. I saw y'all was up like 21-0. I was like, yep, it's over. Mercer started off kind of strong. And 69-0. Sheesh. It's crazy. Um, yeah, let's get back to this insight. So in this Superflex Hokage League, 10-team half PPR, let's actually um go to players that's available right now. We got Teddy Bridgewater, Tyrod Taylor, Derek Carr, Andy Dalton, Tyrell Williams, Cole Beasley, Devontae Parker, Terrace Marshall. Now, what I could do, and I very much will, I'm gonna go ahead and add Terrace Marshall to my roster. And I gotta get rid of somebody. So that's gonna be tough. Who am I gonna get rid of to pick up? I need a backup. I also need another tight end. Do I have the space to do it right now? No. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Terrace Marshall, and this is what I advise y'all to do. Just put him on your watch list. Put him on your watch list so you can know what happens tomorrow. I want to start him. I really would start him in a matchup against the Jets with their DB core being what it is. Cole Beasley is another one that I'm going to be watching tomorrow to see what he does. I advise you, if you have Cole Beasley on your team, consider putting him in the slot. Another player I'm going to watch is Logan Thomas. And this league is actually pretty deep when it comes to like wide receivers. So I'm pretty good on that part. And then tight end is just still there. Amon-Ra St. Brown is still there. Um, so I'm going to actually watch him too on my list. And then I think that's it right now. I'm not really sure if anybody else is going to pop, but those are the top 3 that I'm looking at right now based on the free agency list in this league. Now let's get to the actual matchup. Well, let's get to my team. Let's just keep a buck a buck. Am I confident in Joe Burrow tomorrow? No, but at the same time, it's only because I've been listening to this hype that's going on around the Minnesota Vikings and how they're supposed to have a better defense than last year, and I don't know how much of truth that is and how much is going to reign supreme as we get into the rest of these weeks. But I love my wide receiver core in this dynasty. I mean, in this league, Devontae, AJ Brown, Corey Davis. Between those 3, I have a high floor, so they can make up for Zeke. I'm gonna start Chase Edmonds. I'm gonna start Devontae, AJ, Corey Davis tomorrow against that secondary. Definitely going with Darren Waller. T. Higgins is kind of like, who do I pick? T. Higgins or Laviska? Um, T. Higgins or Laviska? T. Higgins or Laviska? The smart one move would be T. Higgins. I'm not dismissing Cortland Sutton. Um, I just don't think that this matchup is going to be at a position where it's going to factor in and give us a lot of points scored. Hey Siri, what's the over under for the Denver Broncos game? 41 and a half. 41 and a half is the over under for the Denver Broncos game. I don't know how confident I feel about that, bro. Really don't. Well, MB 14, they scored. We watched the WVU game after in the locker room. They won 69-14. We won 48-14. I'm just tired as fuck. We watched that game play out in the locker room, so WVU scored 69 out of us. Oh, okay, I got you. Hey, cut. Do I have a sex? Probably not. Like just Rager. Rager is another one that I'm interested in. I'm not gonna add him to my watch list just yet. However, I'm gonna keep my eye on him. I played in a little in the game, but more so close to the end. I played some. Hey, that's fire, bro. You're already getting reps. Already getting reps. What you think about the team play today? Um, let's keep it going. Let's keep it locked. So that's my lineup. I'm not really making any changes. I'll keep Chenault and Higgins on my bench. I mean Chenault on my bench for Higgins at least this week. Who has a better matchup? Chenault definitely does, and I probably will be kicking myself tomorrow if Lavicia Chenault. So um, who has the potential to bust? Corey Davis, because just the overall game flow of the matchup between them and the Panthers. What if what if um the Jets come out but they're not able to keep up with the Panthers? Now the Jets have to pass more. You would think, okay, well that works for Corey Davis. But what makes me nervous is just the secondary for Carolina is better than we give credit for. In fact, this defense is better than we give credit for. Am I going to be kicking myself tomorrow for starting Laviska? Not really, but at this point, it's hard to do. But the reason why I'm doing it in the X Factor is just because I just think that I think Lavisha Chenault will be more in the game script than Corey Davis is this week. So I might just take a chance. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I might just go best possible scenario. And then I got my lineup locked in for that. All right, so you see that. So that's one lineup set. Um, so let's get to the next one. And before I do, actually, let me go to a new tab. Let's go to um. Let's actually find what's going on right now in the. So let's go to yeah, go fantasy data NFL. Try to see what they got going on over here. See what these contests look like. Um, let's see what their rankings look like for this week. NFL pick on week one. DraftKings picks week one. 5 best wide receiver stacks in DFS week one. Um, do they have any rankings? Nah. Um, let's just do it old fashioned way. So I don't want to read their articles right now. Just go to this Fantasy Pros. See what their rankings are. Week one primary. I gotta read that. Start sit grades week one. All right, this is what we needed. This is what we needed. All right, so Evan Ingram has been ruled out. What does that tell me? Hey, maybe Sterling Shepard is gonna be involved tomorrow, heavily. Who knows? T.Y. Hilton is out. Curtis Samuel is out. Insert Terry McLaurin. T.Y. Hilton is out. Maybe the Colts focus on their ground game. Traquan Smith is out. Is Marquez Callaway that really that guy? Um, Is he really that guy? I don't know. Game time decision. Nelson Aguilar, Odell Beckham, and Emmanuel Sanders. The one that I will be looking at the most is probably Odell. I think that he's more of an X factor than, of course, than Nelson Aguilar and Emmanuel Sanders. Let's just keep a spade and a buck. So yeah, that's what we gotta look out for. And then Austin Eckler is expected to play. He's dealing with the hamstring. Saquon Barkley is coming off his ACL. He's expected to play. And Darnell Mooney is expected to play. What does that mean? I'm not starting Darnell Mooney. I'm not. Even though it's to me, it's a plus matchup when anytime you're going up against the Rams secondary and what he did to Jalen Ramsey last year. That's a good sign. However, I don't trust Andy Dalton, and only wide receiver from the Bears I'm starting is Allen Robinson, and I don't feel bad about that at all. Um, Saquon against the Denver Broncos, I'm nervous. If you're a Saquon owner, you should be nervous too. Why? Because I mean, to be honest, like they've been, playing cautious with this whole situation with Saquon, and I don't blame him because he's their franchise running back. But the Denver Broncos defense is, we don't really know what we can expect this year, but just based on what they did last year, they were better against the run than we give credit for. Now this year, how does that project? They get Von Miller back. Bradley Chubb is supposed to be playing. So that makes it kind of interesting. Then their back end, I totally expect them to come into the game, especially since the over under for that Giants game is 41.5. I expect them to come out and say, "Hey, Daniel Jones, you got to beat us." And Denver secondary is elite. They got their fourth cornerback could be a starting cornerback on the roster. Let's just be honest. So that makes me nervous. But if we have to also call a spade, he really is their offense. Um, so if I did start Saquon, I would start him tempering my expectations. If you don't have any other running back to start, go Saquon. I tell y'all all the time, but start your studs. Don't hesitate. Start your studs, especially week 1, because you don't want to just be that person that benches somebody that's actually good and then say, nah, like no, I'm not. I'm mad now because they blew up and they went off. I mean, we tried to tell you. So I'm starting Austin Eckler and I'm starting Saquon Barkley. But like I said before, I'm not touching Darnell Mooney just yet until probably when Justin Fields starts playing. But I'm not touching him. So that is what we can expect. I'm trying to look at more player news. Um I want to see their week 1 rankings. Week one projections. That's what it is. My fault. Let's see week 1 projections for this and see who's got the highest slate. All right, this is interesting. All right, let me enlarge the screen for you so y'all can see. All right, they got Kyler Murray is the number one. No, Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 ranked quarterback this week. 24.7 points. This is expected output. Up next is Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Tom Brady. Tom Brady actually went nuclear. Jalen Hurts is right now in his top 5. Well, actually top 6. And then after that, you got Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, Tannehill, Herbert. Let's just be honest and call a spade a spade. I say this all the time. The one out of that top 8 that I'm interested in the most is probably Jalen Hurts. But it's not really for the reasons that you might think. I have been watching the Falcons defense very closely over the course of this season. Over the course of this all season, very closely. And I know that what they showed you in the preseason, at least with Dean Pease, was a little bit. It wasn't strictly vanilla. It was more chocolate, more sprinkles, at least on the defensive side of the ball. But at the same time, the Falcons' offense was nothing but vanilla, and Arthur Smith did that on purpose. I'm tempering my expectations on Jalen Hurts tomorrow, and I'm not saying that the Falcons win, but I'm saying that it's not the same Falcons defense as we expect. I said this earlier and tweeted it. I said Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. Don't even think about it. Just press start. Same thing with Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and Patrick Mahomes. Don't even think about it. Press start. Lamar Jackson versus the Raiders. Press start. I don't care if their wide receivers are banged up right now. Press start. Kyler Murray. You might be in a situation where you could stack Kyler Murray. So definitely press start. And Patty, I'm pressing start. I don't know if he'll finish as quarterback number 1 going up against the Browns defense, but I can see why you would have some hesitations, but you really shouldn't. It's Patty Mahomes. Aaron Rodgers in the matchup against Green Bay, I actually have him ranked a little bit higher. Russell Wilson is actually ranked a little bit higher as well. I have Lamar Jackson ranked a little bit lower, and Jalen Hurts ranked a little bit lower. I'm actually higher on Justin Herbert this week. 14.94. I mean 19.4 is his output, and Tannehill. The reasons why is just because even though they're going up, Tannehill is going up against the Cardinals defense, and I'm not sure what they look like this year. I understand that they have the potential to be better. I know that they spent draft capital on their defense. I know that Buda Baker is a dog. I know that Zayvon Collins and Isaiah Simmons are going to be flying over the field. However, um, with the Cardinals, just they still got to stop Julio, who's the number one wide receiver, and they still got to stop Juan, who's slick 1A and 1B, both of them. Is Henry gonna still be Henry? I expect it. So I just think that the game for Tannehill might just be better, and somehow, some way, he starts off slow, but he always finds a way to end up in this top 7 area right here. That's the quarterback that I'm looking at. Justin Herbert, I'm also looking at him this week. He has a tough matchup going up against the Washington football team. However, someone asked me earlier today, would you start Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts? I actually had them closer in my rankings, like number 6 and number 7, as far as my rankings. But I mean, I would start Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts just because of what I said. We already expect the Washington defense to be better. So if this is his projection with a good Washington defense, and this is Jalen Hurts' projection with a quote unquote bad Falcons defense, and it's only technically less than 2 points off, that's basically telling me that they're picking Jalen Hurts based on upside, based on rushing ability, um, rushing rushing output. Same way with Josh Allen, same way with Lamar, and kind of same way with just Jalen Hurts. This is what we got to talk about. So that is who we have. Quarterbacks outside that can really do some damage this week. I got Matt Ryan as a sleeper quarterback for me this week. Sam Darnold. I wouldn't be surprised if Baker Mayfield, gets busy. But all the way down here, these are quarterbacks that you need to be paying attention to and adding to your waiver wires. Justin Fields, go ahead and add him to your team if he's still in your league on your bench or on the free agency pool. Trey Lance, go ahead and add him to your bench and your free agency pool. Daniel Jones, I'm not touching him right now. Zach Wilson, same. I'm not really touching him. Carson Wentz has sneaky upside, even though it might seem like he doesn't have a lot of weapons to throw to, but I'm still going to tip in my expectations for Carson. But he could finish as a QB, high in QB2 if they have to play from behind, and if they have to, if the game flow works out in a way where Carson is passing more. Because let's just say Seattle ranked number 6 last year, and they finished just outside the top 5. They ranked number 6 last year in rushing defense, and when you put strength on top of strength, Colts run game versus Seattle's run defense. I know they don't have the same pieces as last year, and they could take a hit with KJ Wright not being there, but it could be wind up as a plus matchup. Jameis, I'm interested in Jameis this week, just because I'm not really buying this notion that Marquez Callaway is going to be shadowed by Jair Alexander the whole game. If Marquez Callaway is shadowed by Jair Alexander the whole game, then that should let you know what the Packers in the league thinks about Marquez Callaway, if you deserve a shadow already. And, this is just how you're getting busy. Quarterbacks that I'm fading this week. I'm fading Derek Carr against the Ravens. I'm fading surprisingly, I'm gonna fade Ryan Fitzpatrick right here against the Chargers. Those will be on my locked up. And I know y'all don't want to hear this, but temper your expectations about Matthew Stafford tomorrow as well. I know that the Bears defense, it's not the same. It's not the same. Just got called a spade, like I always say. However, I'm just tempering my expectations a little, just because this game could very well work out to being where Matt Stafford, he plays, he's effective, but he doesn't put up the fantasy numbers that you would hope for. So those are the rundown on the quarterbacks right there. Let's go to running backs real quick, and let me go back to the checks. I don't want to make y'all feel like I'm ignoring y'all. We did good. Nick wants the defense to work more harder, and they ran out of energy and began to stumble some. Ran out rain. Hey, was not too happy how we forced no turnovers and only had 3 sacks. That's facts. And down goes Texas, number 15 Texas, 21-40. Sheesh. Arkansas had 340 rushing yards. That's why I drafted him first round of Moon Vibes. What you talking about, Jamonte? My bad, I didn't see your message when you came in. What's good, Child Logic? Eating this New York shrimp medium rare with collard greens. That's the type of vibes we on tonight. That's the type of vibes. Um, so listen, hopefully y'all can see my stream good. What's up, gentlemen of God? I'm over here doing fantasy vibes right now. Trying to give y'all starting sits. So based on that information that we know this week for the matchups, these are just projections. Some other news that's going on in the NFL that you need to know, player news. Like we talked about before, Saquon Barkley got medically cleared. Quentin Nelson got cleared to start on Sunday, which is going to help the ground game and run game for and my nervousness when it comes to starting Jonathan Taylor. Quentin Nelson was questionable due to a pair of injuries, but he's now scheduled to start. If you have Quentin Nelson and Carson Wentz healthy, it's huge for Jonathan Taylor, who ranks 6th in running backs in ECR this week. So I understand that Carson Wentz is flying under the radar right now, but like I said, could very well put up a QB2 numbers. Leo Collins has been suspended for 5 games for violating the NFL's policy on substances. This is a big hit for the defense, for the offensive line, for Dallas. This is what makes me worried about Zeke, because like Collins looked good. Tre'Quan Smith lands on short-term IR. I think I already knew that. If you didn't know that, the receiving core for the Saints is very slim, but like this is why I always said Alvin Kamara is a wide receiver number 1 until Michael Thomas gets back. Nyheim Hines signed a 3-year extension to stay with Indianapolis. That just shows me that he's wide receiver number one for the Colts, and they paid him like it. And I know that he still has value in this offense, even though we try to like say Jonathan Taylor a bust. But I don't think so. But that's the latest that we have coming out. Based on that, let's go back to the board and let's go to running backs. And before we do, let me switch this main and go back to sleeper really quick. You about to stream in 30? Oh, that's a bet. I'm gonna be in there. I gotta finish this episode first. So yeah, I got that one league. Got training Monday, then we leave out Friday to Gainesville to face the Gators. Are y'all off tomorrow? Y'all off tomorrow, Jacory? All right, so we get to the next league. Don't worry about it is the name of the title of the league. And right now, I think my team is like underwhelmed, but I didn't actually draft my team in this league. I actually missed the draft. So none of these players are players that I actually picked. But I'm not too mad about the overall outcome. I still got 2 roster spots on my bench. Our lineup right now is Patrick Mahomes. We got Kyler Murray, James Robinson, and Darrell Henderson Jr., Calvin Ridley, Arthur Juan Brown, Justin Jefferson, Tyen, and Claypool, Jerry Jeudy, and Jason Sanders. Denver Broncos defense. I got Mac Jones on my bench, Justin Fields on my bench, Myles Gaskin also on my bench, and Trotman on my bench. Is there any players in this league that I can add to my roster? Sam Darnold. I should hop on the Sam Darnold wave. But I already got 2 quarterbacks on my roster that I'm looking at. Melvin Gordon, Nyheim Hines, J.D. McKissick, Boston Scott. I'm not about to pass this up. I'm about to add Nyheim Hines to my roster. Yeah. I just fell into my lap like that. And then Tyrell Williams, who very much could be the number 1 wide receiver for the for the Detroit Lions. Terrace Marshall was there. And Jalen Rager. So I'm gonna put Jalen Rager on my list, on my watch list. Definitely has a lot to prove this year. But Cole Beasley is there too. And I told y'all before, if you look at the depth chart, Cole Beasley is wide receiver number 2. E-Man is number 3. Anybody that said otherwise, he wasn't all the way there. If you look at Cole Beasley's last year, his stats: 9 points week 1, 12 points week 2, 16 week 3, 12. Then you had 11, 14, 22, 2 bust weeks against New England and Seattle, 4 points and 6 points. Then he had 27, bro. He had 27 against Arizona, 28 against San Francisco, 19 against Denver. Against Denver. That's a great matchup. But guess who they play? They take on the Steelers this week. Steelers secondary. The Steelers secondary. Let's find out what the Steelers secondary look like this week. Any players from the Steelers on this? Let me go ahead and add. Yeah, I already got him added to my list. MVS. Might have to add him to my list. A short list. Chance to step up this week. Underrated flex play. Randall Cobb. Underrated flex play. I have to add him to my list. I'm pretty much gonna add Terrace Marshall though. I have to. I have to be in on the rookies. And I already seen him break out. My logic is this: if you see a wide receiver, a running back, free agent player, it doesn't matter. If you see them on your team, well, see them on the waiver wire or your free agency pool, and you see them have a boom game where they break out, that is the time to add them to your roster. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Add them on your roster before people catch up on the wave and start adding them in the leagues that you're a part of. If I go back to my team, I now filled my 2 roster spots. I got hurt because J.K. Dobbins got hurt, out for the year, and then the Bateman is currently on IR right now too. So when they come back, at least when Bateman come back, I'm probably gonna get rid of Adam Trotman if he hasn't done anything, and then I'm gonna keep it like that. I don't know why I would need 2 quarterbacks, so I'll probably on my bench. So I would probably get rid of Mac Jones and keep Justin Fields, but it just depends on how long each one of us going to be starting. But I like my lineup. Got 2 quarterbacks: Mahomes and Murray, Robinson and Henderson, who can supposed to get good workloads tomorrow. I'm not really scared of this Chicago defense as far as running at all. A lot of people are hesitant to start, as you see right there, with only 55% started, and same thing with Tyen. But I think that they have plus matchups. Darrell Henderson, if I go to him, it's saying currently that Darrell Henderson is the team starting running back after the season ended injury to Cam Akers, but he's not going to be a top fantasy option in week 1 against the Chicago Bears. The defensive strength this season is going to be up front against the run, with the healthy returns of Keem Hicks and Eddie Goldman, along with other names in the front 7. Meanwhile, the Rams have the pass catchers to exploit the back end of Chicago. The Rams also have Sony Michel in the backfield to spell Henderson to keep him healthy throughout the year. Henderson likely sneaks back into back end RB2 category, but he's not going to be an RB1 this week. If we just call a spade, Darrell Henderson is on top of the depth chart, and to me, I'm not really worried about Sony Michel. Both of them still could be used and used effectively with Sean McVay's system. But if I have to say who's projected to give me more points between Nyheim Hines, I could take a risk against Seattle, who struggles in coverage with running backs. I can also try to go Myles Gaskin against New England, knowing that Tua likes to throw the ball short. And Darrell Henderson, which one? James Robinson is starting. I'm not letting him go. Chase Claypool, kind of a risky play against Buffalo. However, I like what he showed me in preseason. Jerry Jeudy is also another risky play. So you know what? I don't trust Teddy. I really don't. Big Ben has the potential to be a good quarterback too this week. I have the Denver Broncos defense, so I'm pretty set there. I also have Henderson is my question mark. So let's just play devil's advocate real quick. And let's just call a spade a spade. Help you out? I got you, bro. Oklahoma put up 76 points. That's crazy. That auto draft treated me super well. I'm over here looking at my team like, dang. So the question right now is Darrell Henderson. let's just be real. Could it be a situation in the game where he doesn't put up the numbers that we want? For that to happen, he wouldn't score a touchdown. He would be in a situation where Sony Michelle's getting the rushing volume. Um, where I love Daryl Henderson at is in the screen game and as a receiving threat and a receiving option. Yeah, I haven't forgot about JD. I'm just waiting on seeing how they're gonna use JD. I know he's gonna be used as third down back, but how much is his usage? That's what I'm really waiting on. I'm all in on Antonio Gibson this year. So really, the player in question right now is Daryl Henderson. Are we gonna start Daryl Henderson? To be honest, let's go to the rankings. Hold on, really quick. Streamlabs. Um, that didn't work out. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, let's go back to sleep. We'll go back to sleeper, and then we'll go back to fantasy pros. See what they got. Um, we was on running back projections, right? All right. So let's look at the running back projections. They got Christian McCaffrey, number one, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara. But being honest, I rank Alvin Kamara over Derrick Henry this week, and I rank Alvin Kamara over. I like the matchup between Dalvin Cook and the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the same Cincinnati Bengals defense that gave up the Lamar Jackson spin move. What do we think has changed? Nothing. They did get some help on their D line. That's underrated. However, I just don't think that they have the ability to stop Dalvin Cook from getting yards after contact and also yards um expected yards. Um Yards where he's only supposed to get two yards on the play, but he ends up getting 18. That's what I'm worried about. If I look at this list, they got James Robinson as a top 10 running back. And I told you, I'm hesitant on Saquon Barkley this week. And the projections and the rankings are showing that right now. They actually got James Robinson outscoring Saquon. Um, I told you again, I'm high on Antonio Gibson. Aaron Jones is up here in the top five for against the Saints defense. Najee Harris is a number 11, I think. Zeke, we saw where he was ranked up here, but he ended up finishing way lower than that. Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Austin Eckler is all the way down. Like I said, people have Austin Eckler as a top five fantasy running back this week, and I just don't see it. If it happens, I will be totally amazed and totally shook. But these rankings and these projections are updated as of September the 11th. So that's what we can expect. Where is my guy at? Daryl Henderson all the way down here at 9.6. So in reality, we'll be better starting Miles Gaskin. At least according to their rankings, we'll be better starting off Miles Gaskin. James Robinson is an automatic start. Sony Michelle is not that far behind Daryl Henderson. As far as at least projected points. Um, with Daryl Henderson being at 9.6 and then Sony Michelle being at 7.1. But like I said, I'm trying to see what type of usage that they're going to get. DeAndre Swift being all the way down here at the bottom kind of makes me nervous. Just because I feel like he can easily jump up here. If we talking about the difference is only a 1.5 of a point, Damian Harris is the same way against the Dolphins. But I'm kind of tempering my expectations against this Dolphins defense. Tyson Williams being a Baltimore Ravens running back at 10-7 is probably right where I have him. And you might be like, dang, who's Tyson Williams? Well, the world kind of is going to get introduced to Tyson Williams just because of all the injuries going on with the Ravens. But these running backs right now, like I'm not too happy, excited for week one. as far as the matchups. I think out of the best matchups on the slate is probably James Robinson taking on the Texans. I'm not saying that just because he's on my team. Also, if we're just keeping it a buck, possibly, maybe. Um, I know it's unconventional. Raheem Mostert against the Detroit Lions. We saw how bad the Lions' rushing defense was last year. That's the same team that let Aaron Jones go for like 200 yards. So if we could just being honest, he has a chance. And also, I mean, this is making me just think outside the box. Think smarter than Harley. Hey, be safe. Be safe, Jacory. Appreciate you tuning in. In the wide receiver room fantasy draft, I got Henderson at RB2. I would feel good about that, honestly, Jacory. I mean, honestly, because he's gonna get the usage, he's gonna get the volume, and he's not as bad. To me, he's not as bad as like people might suggest. Mostert, Jamar Chase, and Marvin Jones in PPR. Mostert. I'm going Mostert. If I had to rank it order, I would pick Mostert, Jones, then Chase. Mostert, Jones, then Chase. And it's not because I'm hating on Jamar Chase. It's just because I told you before. I think that he's a wide receiver 3 in this offense. For the Bengals, and could we see a situation where, hey Siri, what's the over under for the Minnesota Vikings game? 47. They're playing at home. That helps it out. Yeah, like I just don't trust it right now. At least week 1. And then the Vikings. I know they didn't have no crazy additions or whatever to their team in the offseason, but um they're projecting the Vikings defense to be better. I don't know if it's gonna be like top 10 defense better, but they do get their members of their D line back with Daniil Hunter. They do got Patrick Peterson, who's seems like he's on the back end right now, but I'm going Mostert. Yeah, I'm going Mostert, and I feel confident about that. Mostert, I'm telling you, all it takes is one play. Mostert's the type of player in fantasy where it literally he might have 0 points, and then all of a sudden he breaks off a 60-yard touchdown run, and now this just changes the whole landscape of your week, just because he went crazy. San Francisco looks like they'll be healthy at least coming into week 1. I think besides Trey Lance. Um, so yeah, I'm starting Mostert in that matchup. It's just too good to pass up. And he's ranked all the way down here as far as running backs. Like he could easily finish. He's a running back that could easily finish in this top area right here. Wide receiver running backs that could bust. Um, what about? hmm, I mean, I could make a case for every one of these running backs on why they could bust. To be honest, if I'm just want to give you a quick spill real quick, Najee Harris. What if game script makes the Bills go up favorite high, and now Najee doesn't get the carries that he normally would get in a situation? So they come out saying, "Hey, we're gonna run the ball, run the ball, run the ball," but because of the game flow, they're not able to run the ball like they think they are, and they got to play from behind. It helps Najee as far as like PPR value because he'll be getting catches out of the backfield now. But it makes me temper my expectations. But he very well he could finish higher than Zeke for sure because Zeke only got you 5 points. But like I said, you got to start your studs. And is Najee Harris a stud? I'll let you figure that out, and I'll come to that decision. Um, Waddle or Watkins PPR? Waddle, Waddle. Where do they have Jalen Waddle ranked? Um, Waddle or Watkins? That's an interesting one. I like that one. Let's see where they rank right now. Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins. They got Waddle ranked all the way up here, 6.6 fantasy points. They got Sammy Watkins ranked down here, 5.1. I feel like there's a gap. Tomorrow, I'm starting if I have Russell Gage in my team, I'm considering starting him in my flex. Cole Beasley, flex god. Jalen Rager, possibly. I'm not touching Darnell Mooney right now. Randall Cobb, he could come back in and be same thing with Terrace Marshall. I'm not discounting Deshaun Jackson. You probably have to put him on the watch list too. AJ Green, I'm not fading, but the fact that they have Sammy Watkins all the way down here, like Gabriel Davis, is not going to be effective tomorrow. Marquez Valdez Scantling, it's not going to be effective tomorrow. Brand Edwards, like a lot of these rankings are not, a lot of these points are not the end all be all. They're just projections. But you have to ask yourself who could finish higher than the projection and lower. We saw what Mike Evans did on Thursday night, and he was projected to give you 11 points, and he didn't come close to that. Let's just be honest. Um, but if you have a team that's starting off with one of these studs, Hill, Ridley, Adams, Diggs, Hopkins, Brown, Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, I'm still starting. In this top, what, 9? I'm still starting. Tyler Lockett, he gets a start. But temper your expectations. That Colts defense, the secondary, is like that. Who's a wide receiver in this range that could easily go crazy? As you can see, Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper just put passing volume alone. And that's another reason why I'm kind of higher on T. Higgins. Just because of passing volume. Volume is king. Keenan Allen could very well finish. I don't like the matchup, but at this point, you got Hollywood Herbie on your team. I'm not dismissing it. But look where they got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. We talked about Matt Stafford a little bit earlier. They got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods like right at this back end wide receiver 2 type range. Same with Debo, same with Odell, same with Deontay, same with Marvin Jones. So you asked the question, would it be Mostert, Marvin Jones, or Jamar Chase? Marvin Jones is probably like a top 20 wide receiver this week. But if we look at the other side of the game, that's just some projections. Mostert is ranked right here as a running back, so you have to ask yourself. You got the 11.6 ranking. Then you have on this side, you had Marvin Jones 9.4. Marvin Jones to get you cleared on that value, he's probably gonna have to score. So I'm gonna have to get like he is the wide receiver number 1, so we have to call that fair. Houston's secondary does not concern me whatsoever. And if I'm high on Trevor Lawrence, then I technically have to be high on Laviska Shenault, and also got to be high on Shark, and maybe even I'm already high on Marvin Jones. But the X factor, volume. Who's gonna get the most volume in Week 1? And I think just based on game flow, the San Francisco might be up big, and they might just have to rely on Mostert. That's the reason why. And so if you talk about matchup and you talk about potential upside, I would say Mostert, just because um they gave him the starting job for a reason, and he's explosive, one of the fastest players in the league, and I think he has the most upside. Watkins always has that one wild game, then goes hush mode. Yes, every season. It's just depending and figuring out which you have to figure out which game is he gonna bust and what game is he gonna boom. With Sammy, I always think it's in matchups that are unconventional. Um, what else did I miss? Did you turn adding people off on Sleeper? Nah, it's still on, at least for our dynasty league. All right, let me go back to Sleeper. I've already checked out the wide receivers, and I already checked out the running backs. We'll do wide receivers next. Um, so let me go back to app. Huh? All right, so now we get to we get to the next league I'm in. I already set my lineup for. Don't worry about it. I think I did. Oh, I'm not starting Henderson. So the smarter play, the smarter play for me this week will probably be to start Miles Gaskin. just so we can see what the workload looks like. I already know Miles Gaskin is going to be the number one running back, but I'm kind of nervous about Henderson. Am I taking James Robinson out? No. And is Miles Gaskin expected to give you more against New England? No. And does it make sense to bench him? No. So if I'm going just based on that and I look at the gut feeling, I think Daryl Henderson can have himself a good game tomorrow. And I'm not opposed to saying that Naeem Hines can't or Gaskin can't, but I'm higher. He's a great PPR option though. Patriots are average when it comes to stopping running backs. You should get a handful of carries and a few targets as well. Fantasy managers should be fine with Gaskin as an RB2 to begin the season. He's technically the RB3 for me, so I really could start him. To be honest, I'll feel comfortable either one. But which one is gonna like push me over the top? Which one has the potential to go big play, get touchdowns? Um, I would say Henderson, just because there's more points available to be scored in this matchup versus the Tua versus Mac Jones situation in the game that we have. So that's the lineup right there for that. I'm setting that in, locking it in. Um, and this is what fantasy is. This is like you gotta trust your gut. And week one is always hard because you don't really know a lot of information. I mean, you paid attention to preseason, but at the same time, like things can happen and things can change where you no longer are the more information that you have, the harder that it is to stay 10 toes down and knowing that, you have the potential to um make bold decisions. And what I mean by that is like, all right, let's say you find out information tomorrow that this is just random, but like let's say Robert Woods isn't playing, or Cooper Cup is not playing, or Matt Stafford has like an injury. Is it going to change my projection on Daryl Henderson? Slightly, because I feel like he'll be used a little bit more. But currently constructed, I would take Henderson a little bit more than Gaskin. A little bit, even though the rankings don't suggest it. Um, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But that's what my gut is going with. It might change in the morning, and I might change it, but that's what I'm leaning towards, at least right now in this present moment. The X factor is Tua just throws the ball short a lot, and based on what we saw in the preseason, Gaskin can be effective, but you got three running backs that could potentially get carries: Brown, Gaskin, and Ahmed versus two with Sony Michelle and Daryl Henderson. If I'm listening to the reports that Sean McVay said earlier in the training camp, then this shouldn't affect Daryl Henderson. So we just gotta just wait and see for that one. In this league that I'm in, my team is Tom Brady. I had Zeke, Saquon, which I'm questionable about, Tyler Boyd, Swift, Tyen, Brandon Ayuk, and Deontay Johnson. My bench is Travis Etienne. I can't even put him on IR because I got to drop. I got to drop. I can't even put him on IR. Mike Thomas is in my IR spot. Just like in this league too. You gotta put, if you see somebody that you're interested in, go ahead and watch them. I'm doing that for Sam Darnold. I'm doing that for Jimmy. Nah, I'll do it for Ben Roethlisberger too, just in case. Because he could put up some numbers tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. J.D. McKissick, go ahead and add him. Gio Bernard already played. Tyler Johnson, Stevenson, Jones. I'm not touching any of these running backs right now. Wide receivers: Cole Beasley, Marshall. I already added Marshall. Might as well add Cole Beasley to a roster. I don't think I have. That might give me a little bit more comfort. So now I go to my roster. And my roster includes Cole Beasley, Chanu, Matt Jones, Travis Etienne. So I'm about to drop Travis Etienne. He's looking at a 4-month timeline. Jack's not making the playoffs though, so I doubt that they try to push him back. I gotta drop him. All right, so now we in a situation. Who could go crazy and like go upside in this situation? Because I need JJ Weaver. Are you watching the Kentucky game right now? I like this lineup between Deontay, Brandon Ayuk, DeAndre Swift. Um, do I want to start DeAndre Swift in my flex though? It's risky, but I'm all about taking risks right now. And I've been talking about DeAndre Swift versus Cole Beasley add him to my flex. But I told y'all, like, sometimes you gotta just do it and then think about it later. Who could bust out of this lineup? Saquon. I already got the half touchdown floor of Brady. He won a game for y'all? That's crazy. That's crazy. I'll feel more comfortable when I get Michael Thomas back. But until then, this is challenge. Swift versus Beasley. Who do I start in my flex? The smarter option would be going Beasley, and I'm gonna go with the smarter option. Um, and I'm gonna sit on Swift at least for this week. All right, let's go to. I don't know if they're still in here, but I'm gonna try to help people out with their lineups. This is the R1P Dynasty League that we're a part of right now, currently. I got Jalen Hurts as my starter, Antonio Gibson is my running back one, David Montgomery is my running back two, Devontae Adams is my wide receiver one, Arthur Juan Brown is my uh wide receiver two, Brandon Ayuk is wide receiver three, Tanyan, Callaway, Trevor Lawrence, and then Carlson. Um, Ronald Jones got you negative 1.86 points. That's crazy. Uh, I have a lot of options I can go with. A lot of options I can go with. See, I like this in depth thing. All right, so who am I going against? I might just have to do it like this. Who am I going against? My brother. So I'm just gonna have to match big on big. I trust Gibson. I trust Montgomery, both to get good workloads. Will it be tougher for Montgomery? Yes. But I'm still gonna trust him as a running back two this week. And if he does anything better than that, I'm happy. The interesting question in this lineup is Marquez Callaway. Is he gonna be shadowed by Jair Alexander? And if he is, that's gonna be trouble. If he's not, then he's not. And he probably could eat, and they don't really have a lot of wide receivers to compete with. But um, it makes me interested, bro. Tyson Williams. Um, I'm interested in Tyson as my running back in the flex because I rather have like a sure thing. So I mentioned Henderson in my other league. I think I might go Swift here just because I think I might go Swift. Push you over the maximum allowed taxi player. Also, I can't edit my lineup right now. Um, I'm not trying to add him to my taxi squad. I just want him on my bench. I gotta figure that out in the league. My defense, they're gonna be what they are. I'm not really expecting too much from my defensive players. Jeremiah Wusu is I don't think he's playing just yet, so I got him on my bench right now. Matt Judon could have himself a good game against Miami. He's not hurt. He's dealing with personal reasons right now. That's what they said. At least it was personal reasons. The Texas squad looking nice. I think I'm going with this lineup week one, and I'm gonna be sure about that. Let's look at the league. Let's do some matchups. And Jamonte wants me to check out his team. Team Joe the God. We got Collar starting, Eckler, Carson, Thielen, Boyd, Diggs, Andrews, Antonio Brown got you 27 points. You got 18 points from Devin White, Mosley, Adams, Deion Jones. I'm not gonna lie, your lineup is pretty lit. Who I would consider starting is Mostert. Um, and you got a lot of defensive players. I would consider starting Mostert. Um, since you already got your flex with Antonio Brown, you got 23 points out of your flex position. That's a win. It don't matter what happens this week. It's a win that you got 27 points off of your flex. Your QB2 is Matt Ryan in your super flex. That's actually what's probably got you favored right now in your matchup because they have Hayden Hurst that you're playing against. So that's probably tipping the scale in your favor. Um, I like your lineup. I would start Diggs is my wide receiver one, Thielen is my two, Boyd is my three. Then I would put Eckler and Carson. Tempering my expectations on Eckler. Colin Murray should have himself a good game. Your defense is pretty much going to carry you. That's what it looks like. I would be trying to find something to do with Mostert though. I told Greeny before, but you got Marvin Jones and Mostert on your team. Which ones would I replace? Um, it's kind of tough because you already have a player that started in your flex. So the only way you would be able to change anything is if you didn't start Carson. If you play Mostert and you play Mostert instead of Carson, which I would, based on matchup, bro, I would consider doing. Um, and it's tough. It's really tough. That's the decisions that you got to make. Uh, yeah, I would do that. Yeah, I would start Mostert over Chris Carson. Let's go back to the ranking. But I got Mostert actually ranked a little bit lower than Chris Carson. I got Mostert like less than 4/10 of a point away. David Montgomery is in that same range too, but look at that. Austin Eckler is in that same range too, Jamonte. So Austin Eckler, Carson, Mostert. Who was the other one? So Austin Eckler and Carson are right in that like low, high end RB2 range. Because if RB1s is 1 through 12, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So Zeke not finishing as a top 24 running back this week. Miles Sanders and Edwards-Helaire, we gotta wait and see. But if they're right outside of that, those are still good, strong plays. But it's like a pick 'em. Which one would you rather have? Who has a higher upside? I honestly think that Carson might have the higher upside just because we seen him using the passing game before. But is that going to translate this year? And are they going to at least let the rest cook this week? The matchup is more concerning with me for the Colts defense than it is for the Lions defense. So that probably be the X factor. So the only decision that I would probably consider, unless you're gonna have to consider and make, is Carson or Carson or Mostert. That's gonna be your decision. You got Sermon also. If anything happens to Mostert, you want to get him off of your roster before. anything happens. So that's who I would go with in your situation. Um, I probably lean towards Mostert a little bit more than Carson. And again, I could very well be wrong. I temper all my expectations when it comes to players week one, but the X factor would be matchup. I think the Lions. I would be happy if the Lions actually show up and have a defense, but based on what we've seen so far, I don't know if that's going to be the case. In this league, I have Carson Wentz, Tyrod Taylor. This is like a dynasty league, I think. No, it's a one. It's a 12 team. Yeah, it's 12 team, 1 year PPR. And I don't think I drafted my lineup. Oh yeah, I did. I had J.K. Dobbins, and then he got hurt. Um, I'm not really happy about my quarterbacks. Right? Ronald Jones already is on a waiver wire. They was not playing. The quarterbacks is dry. It's no quarterbacks whatsoever. Running backs, I mean wide receivers, still got potentials. Sammy Watkins still there. I gotta watch him, and at least in this league, see where he's at. And then also gonna watch Paris Campbell as well tomorrow. I already got him watched. I'm not really touching Emmanuel Sanders or Humphreys or Renfro. Pascal might be a sleeper just because he was good last year um for them. But if you have a dynasty league, I wouldn't really be touching Pascal. And that is it tight ends? Zach Ertz is still there. Dan Arnold is still there. Tyler Croft is still there. I'm just gonna go ahead and add these guys to my watch list. Firsker, might as well add you there too. Zach Ertz though, I'm high on Zach Ertz still. Um, but out of all of these, I'm probably highest on Dan Arnold. And like they say right here, he's a sneaky sleeper for week one. So if I'm looking at my team, do I need any depth? No. Actually, forgot I had Aaron Jones and Damian Harris. Oh wow, that makes me feel a lot better. And I got Cal. I'm straight. I need a kicker though. Some of my money on running backs gotta go. Drew Lock, you're not even starting, bro. You gotta go. But I don't have any other quarterback. But he's not starting, so if Teddy is a guy, then Teddy is a guy. I gotta drop him. Right? Yeah, I'll pick him back up later if I have. Um, I gotta get a kicker. I'm not trying to lose my matchup over a kicker, bro. Which one do I want? I'm looking at Visciano Norden, who's probably gonna be starting. Oh no. Patriots activate Nick Folk from the practice squad to replace Norden as the primary place kicker for Sunday's game against Miami. Ah man, not touching him. Josh Lambo. Yeah, you might have to be the guy. I don't trust Robbie Gold. He just came off of a season where 10, 13, 9. He had a lot of performances that were underwhelming as a kicker. McLaughlin, he can miss the season opener. Greg Joseph. I don't know how I trust Vikings kickers, bro. I don't know how I trust Vikings kickers. What's the over under? Hey Siri. Hey Siri. What is the over under for the Vikings versus Bengals game? 47 currently. He's the number one kicker, bro. What was he looking like last year? Oh, he wasn't playing. In 2018, he had 76 points. He's only been in the league for 3 years. So right now I'm looking between Lambo, Joseph, Dustin Hopkins, maybe. Nah, that's a bust matchup because they're over under pretty. Same thing with them. Boswell. They're gonna need a lot of points coming from the kicker. So is he number one? Sam Sloman. Yeah, let's go with Boswell. And I can change this up next week. And I just stream kickers or something. So let's go to the league, Suicide Squad League. Add this kicker piece, and that helps my projection at least a little bit. Let's look at the matchup. I'm projected to win now, 62%. Even with Tyrod Taylor and Carson Wentz as my two starting quarterbacks. That's crazy. Oh, it's because the waiver wire is locked on Saturday nights. Yeah, it's because it's locked on Saturday night. That's the only reason. All right, I got that lineup. What other leagues do I have? Busty Balls, best ball lineup. Fantasy NFL best ball only supported sleeping mobile app, so I got to check that out. I already did the super slimy team. Fantasy Vibes season 1. Forgot all about this team. Right now in this league, I have like my my team is deep, like super deep. Um, as you can see, is this is just that deep right there. Let's actually go to my team really quick. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat for me so I can answer them. I'm starting Kamara, Austin Eckler. I like that. Both high PPR players. Antonio Brown and Deontay Johnson, my wide receiver 1 and 2. Gronk already played, so that's a flex. Zeke played. He only got 5, almost 6 points. I got Jacobs and Kyle Pitts supposed to be playing. Jacoby Myers is my slot, as well as Tyler Boyd, DJ Moore, Corey Davis, and then Jalen Hurts and Matt Ryan are my two starters at quarterback going up against each other tomorrow. I got Alex Highsmith, Nick Singleton, Deion Jones, Jeremy Chin, Winfield, and I got Zach Cunningham, Fred Warner, Foye Luakan, Corey Holcomb, and Isaiah Simmons. So I should be good in that area. What I'm going to do though is I'm gonna go out on a limb. I got a couple of different yeah, I got to get rid of Quadri. I'm about to drop you. Probably pick up another running back because he's no longer on the roster. Nico Collins has to stay. Gage has to stay. Logan Thomas is the sneaky play tomorrow. So how about this? Why not start Logan Thomas? Why not start Logan Thomas, right? I'm not really sold on Josh Jacobs at least this week. So let's put Kyle Pitts as the slot or the flex. And then as far as quarterbacks goes, I like Sterling Shepard, but not against that defense. I like Mike Williams as well. He could be an interesting play. But do I trust Mike Williams over Jacoby Myers? Is waiver wire pickup available all day? It is actually. I think it's closed on Saturdays, and it opens up on Sunday morning. So it should open up in about an hour, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at this league setting. Yeah, players are on waivers right now. It should be open. Corey Davis, DJ Moore, Tyler Boyd, Jacoby Myers. I don't know why, but I feel like all of them have potential to bust. But I don't really have a lot of options. Do I trust Big Ben Roethlisberger? Big Ben or Matt Ryan tomorrow? Matt Ryan probably has a better matchup, but something's telling me Big Ben. He didn't have any bust games, but he did. He did finish 13th in PPR last year, and he had a 33 and 10. He only had 3,800 yards though. For this week, let me go look at this projections real quick, just to make it match up. And this is only just one of the sources that I use. They got Matt Ryan ranked higher than Ben. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I'm gonna leave Matt Ryan as a starter. And then if Ben plays good, he plays good. And I'm just happy that he played good. So that's my lineup. I'm going with the double tight end stack. And then I already got Grunt getting busy with me. I shouldn't have started Zeke. I don't know why I didn't check my lineup before, but I'll get better with that. So that lineup is locked and loaded. My next lineup is a dynasty league. I got Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, Miles Gaskin, Beckham, Robert Woods, Waller, Robbie Anderson, Dallas Goddard, Mike Williams, Tannehill or Kyler Murray. Tannehill or Kyler Murray. Who has a better game? Um, I would say Kyler, but I'm not sleeping on Tannehill. A lot of my running backs are not even going to be playable right now. And there's nobody on my bench that I would consider starting in spots up here. So I'm gonna leave my roster like it is. Let's check players to see if there's any players that's worthy of any pickups right now. Honestly, no. So I think that's good. And then I think I got like 3 or 4 more leagues. So I got Ben starting in another league. This is another dynasty league that I'm in that I had an orphan team. Um and it's full of rookies. I got Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, Devontae Smith, Lavisha Chenault, Montgomery, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Rager, and Trevor Lawrence. I didn't start just Ronald Jones. I got to get rid of Justice Hill. Um, so let me do that real quick. Jarvis. I think this is the first league I have Jarvis in. I got 3 running backs on IR, Dobbins and ETN. That's tough. Hunter Henry get busy tomorrow at the tight end. But am I starting him over Kyle Pitt? No. Jalen Rager. Interesting. Devin Singletary could be a better play. Um, and if there's anything going on with Saquon Barkley where it's a change in the tune of everything that's going on, I will literally take Saquon Barkley out and literally put in Devin Single in right above him. And I wouldn't be feeling bad about it at all. Um I like that lineup too, especially with Trevor Lawrence as my number one guy. But actually I should have Trevor Lawrence as my number one starter. And Ben is my backup. I like the way that looks. All right, that league is good. Russell Wilson, Nick Chubb, Mostert, McLaurin, AJ Brown, Higby, Diggs, Cooper Cup. I'm loving that. Fournette got me 10 points. Jamar Chase, 12.74 currently. There's nobody on my team that I'm looking at and saying I gotta replace you. Um, but there are people on my team where I'm like, could I possibly add some more depth to my roster? And when I see Javonte Williams, oh, that's Jamal Williams. Thought that was Javante Williams for a second. I was about to get so happy. Um, Marvin Jones is still there. Might as well go ahead and add him or watch him. He's still dealing with the shoulder injury, so that's gonna make me temper my expectations a little bit. I already got Cole Beasley watched, like I did showed you earlier. Terrace Marshall watched as well. So is Darnell Mooney. Tight ends, where we looking at? Zach Ertz, Hooper, Austin Hooper. Could Austin Hooper get busy tomorrow? What's this projection? 9.64. Would I rather have Tyler Higbee or Austin Hooper? What do they have the rankings at right now? Tyler Higbee is ranked currently just inside top. He's just outside the top. So they're right close to each other. 4.8. So it's really a toss up, to be honest. Um, I wish I had one of the top five guys. Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, Andrews, Hawk, or the next five. Maybe even Gronk. But Tyler Higbee and Hooper is a toss up. For Higbee, I'm actually gonna ask this question. I know they have section where it's like starter sit. Yeah, who should I start? Let's to the first player because I think and it should be closer than we anticipate. 94% says Tyler Higbee. The matchup is pretty much the same. 4-star matchups, both of them. The projection is really close, but I don't know why they're so far on consensus when it comes to Tyler Higbee. That makes me so nervous. Let's look at the target share. Can't see 2021 yet, just yet. Can they show me projections? Yeah, we'll start Higby. Mhm. And I hate starting two Rams players like that, especially in a night game. Um, that's tough. But I gotta go with it. I don't really have a lot of options right now. So let's go to the next league. This league, I'm pretty much gonna get smacked in. Um, at least that's what it looks like on paper. I really don't like my team. I like Hollywood though. Who can we substitute Hollywood for? Juju? Yeah, I'm going Hollywood over Juju this week. Saquon, Najee, AJ Brown. I have a lot of AJ Brown shares this year. Jared Goff. I'm starting Zach Wilson. Uh, Got to get rid of Drew Lock. And is there any other quarterback? No, there's no quarterbacks at all. Actually, there's none. There's like none. Jawan Johnson is still there. So let's watch him. See what he does. tomorrow. This matchup, my team really don't want to make a lot of changes. CD already did me justice, giving me 23 points as my wide receiver number 3. Like, I'm loving that. All Hollywood and Jacoby Myers have to do is just not bust. Kareem Hunt, though, I've been totally ignoring. Could there be a situation where we start Kareem Hunt over Saquon? It very much could. Or if I had to ask myself, Kareem Hunt or Mark or Hollywood Brown. If I'm saying Hollywood Brown or Kareem Hunt, I'm going Kareem Hunt. And it might take my roster just a little bit of a dip. But if anything happens with Saquon, like I said, I got a backup plan. So I'll be starting Kareem and Najee. Najee be my running back number 1. Kareem will be my running back number 2. And then I'll just substitute Marquise Hollywood Brown back in the slot. All right, so that lineup is good. And then my next league, Lamar Jackson, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Mike Evans busted for me. Ronald Jones busted for me. It's a bad week overall for that. Uh, I'm starting Lamar. I need big play potential. I need like boom potential. So that makes me have to switch up my strategy. Um, all right. So put Lavisha Chenault instead of Claypool. Let's take Claypool out and put in. It's unconventional, but I'm feeling Henry Ruggs because I want to try Gerald Everett in that slot right here. But at the same time, I need boom like boom potential. I think that he could have boom potential just because um, Russell Wilson always likes to go to wide receivers. I mean, running tight ends in the red zone. So if I'm talking about just touchdown upside, Gerald Everett would probably be high on that list. So my list would probably be Chenault, Everett, and that'll make me feel bad because I'm benching Claypool, and I'm benching Evan Ingram is out, Deshaun Watson is out, Sam Darnold is. My team is looking kind of brutal here. Really isn't not a lot of options. So I really be choosing between Claypool, MVS, Ruggs, or Gerald Everett. We saw what Gronk did on Thursday where he got 2 touchdowns. So I'm not saying it could be the same type of performance, but I am saying that it very well could be touchdown upside for him. And especially week 1 where, you know, there's not a lot of teams. They're game planning, but they haven't seen Gerald Everett on the roster. But it's a risk though. Who has greater touchdown upside? Definitely. Who has big greater upside just period is probably Claypool. So I'm probably just gonna lean with the consensus here. And it's risky. So I'll just start Chenault and Claypool, Matt Ryan, Youngway Cool, and the Colts defense, and then hopefully some way, somehow I can be competitive this week. I can't edit this lineup. I think this is the last thing. I got Tua, Dalvin Cook, Miles Gaskin, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Antonio Brown, Javonte Williams. Sheesh, bro. Jared Everett again. Is there any quarterbacks available? No. Sheesh. Justin Fields is not even playing. Um, Gardner Minshew is not playing. I should have drafted more quarterback in this league. But I do not have to just start Justin Fields. In this situation, Brian Edwards or Marvin Jones. Give me Marvin. Give me Brian Edwards. Javonte Williams against New York Giants or Gerald Everett. Give me Gerald Everett, and then I'll live with that. I'll live with that to fight another day. So that is my sleeper lineups. Let's go check fantasy. Go check fantasy rundown and see what they got real quick. Fantasy Labs got you covered with the starter sits for week one. Quarterbacks to start. Matt Ryan. We was just talking about him. Jimmy Garoppolo. He has a great matchup. Justin Herbert versus the Washington football team. Joe Burrow is a sit. They got Damian Harris is a start. Tyson Williams is a start. Running backs to sit. Zeke. That was right. Javante Williams and Michael Carter. Sits. Wide receivers to start. Brandon Cooks. Lavisha Chenault. We've been starting him all over the place. Corey Davis. Wide receivers just sit. Kenny Galladay. Darnell Mooney. I just talked about him. Tight ends to start. They got Austin Hooper as a tight end to start. Anthony Fursker. Tight ends to sit. Janu and Hunter Henry. I got Higby. I'm not gonna be starting Austin Hooper, even if it is a plus matchup. All right, so that's the starter sits from that website. Uh, and I think that's all I wanted to get into for this segment, at least. This is just something light. I know I just kind of did the spur of the moment just because I'm gonna try to do this every Saturday night. To come on here live and do a recording for y'all where we get into setting my lineups and stuff. Um, how's my stream keep reconnecting? All right, cool. We're good. So yeah, I had to set my lineups and everything. I got a lot of invitations. But I don't think I'm accepting any more invitation. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm actually gonna be going live tomorrow morning on YouTube or from Real Ones Productions, and giving you my starter sits tomorrow, answering all your questions. So make sure you check it out and make sure you're there. All you got to do is just subscribe to our channel at Real Ones Productions on YouTube, which is going crazy right now. It's greatly appreciate it, and we appreciate the support. Um, yeah, like I don't know if there's too much and more information I want to give you because I can break it like down, but I know this show this lasts like hours upon hours. Because I can get really deep into fantasy. But I will say that good luck in your matchups tomorrow. Like I always do, trust your gut, bro. Don't just trust your gut. Like I have to make the executive decision and say, who do I want to start? Tyler Higbee or Austin Hooper? Kansas City struggles against tight ends, but the matchup seems to be more favorable with Tyler Higbee, even though they're not that far away. So it makes it like you really have to trust your gut. And in this week one, start your studs. Why not? I know we started Zeke and it didn't pay out, but at the same time, don't panic just yet. Be mindful of everything that you got to deal with. And I started leaking Zeke in a couple of different leagues. So I feel the pain. Like y'all not on the only ones alone on that one. So um, good luck on your matchups, man. Like one of my leagues, I already had CD Lamb and Antonio Brown go crazy. So all I need is just some more wins. But it's a pleasure to talk to y'all about my roster. If y'all have any other questions, let me know in the chat. But if not, we're gonna get out of here. And I'm trying to win these matchups this week. I'm also gonna be playing daily fantasy this week too, so I'm probably gonna set up a lineup for like DraftKings or FanDuel. I already started that process anyway, so I'm telling y'all, fantasy vibes is about to take off in a way that is just beyond crazy. So I appreciate y'all tuning in to the early wave of everything. Before all the crazy graphics and all that type of stuff. But I am your one stop shop for everything that you need to know in fantasy. We really do this over here. You can check me out on Instagram at Super Moon Vibes and on Twitter at FF Moon Vibes right up there. Very active on my Twitter. All you gotta do is just hit me with that follow, and make sure you check out all of our socials for Real Ones Productions too, and you're greatly appreciated if you do. For me, I know one more thing that I wanted to show y'all really quick was this. Hold on, I need the football week 1 rank, and I'll give you the rankings. They have it all broken down, bro. Hey yo, Moon, I'm making beef noodles. What should I put in them? Also, how you doing? Um, no, a little seasoned salt. No, maybe I'm not the type that dumps the whole packet of beef in there. Maybe some seasoned salt, maybe some pepper. Nothing too light. It's late at night, bro. You don't want to have heartburn or nothing. Let me show y'all this real quick. This is the rankings, positional rankings for like a lot of different websites. The one I trust the most is probably number fire. But like this is their ranking. They got Mahomes, Murray, Allen, Jackson, Prescott, Wilson, Brady, Hurts, Garoppolo. They have Jimmy G as a top 10 quarterback this week. Top 10. This is why it's all about streaming. Um, it's crazy. They also got the report that Odell is questionable for the season opener. We talked about that earlier. That's another reason why I'm leaning towards starting Kareem Hunt. If Odell cannot play. Um, so yeah, I would just lean towards your gut. Trust your gut more than you can in any other situation, especially in week 1. I was Jimmy G a top 10 quarterback. He's a top 2 quarterback. Hey, listen, he's top 10 projected this week, at least from Number Fire. Um, but we'll see how they shake out. But yeah, man, I hope you enjoyed yourself. Again, I know these uploads are like different than the rest of my content, but I promise you, I told y'all before that I'm versatile. I don't just stick to just one type of content. So, um, let me know if y'all want me to um let me know how y'all feel about this content. And if you can share it with somebody, I greatly appreciate it. And let them know that Fantasy Vibes is a new wave. Make sure you check out the podcast at and I'll show you in a second. Make sure you check out the podcast for Fantasy Vibes at Fantasy Vibes Podcast on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts. It does not matter. It's everywhere. Only where it's not yet, I don't think is Apple. Entitled. So check that out. And I should be having next week have my special guest Jalen the journalist on with me to do what we learned on Tuesday, overreaction Tuesdays or eyes don't lie Tuesday. And I'm also gonna have like more people coming in to join me on the podcast. So it's a lot to be excited for the podcast. I greatly appreciate y'all tuning in. Moon, you see how them ducks you smoking that number 3 Buckeyes? Yes, I did see that. Congratulations to your ducks. Okay. Um. So yeah, I'm about to get out of here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. This is Fantasy Vibes, presented by Real Ones Productions. And again, I just set up all my lineups for my league, so I don't have to do it in the morning. And I just thought to just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Might as well help y'all with some fantasy insight while I do it. So yeah, good luck on your matchups this week. And remember, trust your gut. Trust your gut, man. And I'll see y'all on the other side. We'll be streaming live on YouTube in the morning, so I'll see you there. And until next time, I'll see you. Stay safe. Stay wavy, like I always say. Make sure y'all do something nice for somebody you normally wouldn't do. You never know how it can impact their life. I'm Moon, and I'm signing out of here.